the forests in California are definitely iconic. Being in the forest gives you a sense of peace and ways of thinking and looking at the world. I'm Angela Bernheisel, and I'm the forest manager of the Soquel Demonstration State Forest. CAL FIRE manages Demonstration State Forests for research, for recreation, for timber production, and demonstration and education.
There are currently 10 Demonstration State Forests in California. They occupy roughly 73,000 acres. They exhibit most of the common forest types that we find in this state, from coastal redwoods to mixed sierra to true fir. We use forests for experimental and demonstration reasons. They're used for research.
The use of these forests is invaluable. We're standing next to operators that are actually falling timber. We have piles burning, and we're planting on this landscape. So simultaneously, we have 3 different types of forest management practices in play, and it's happening as we stand here to make progress and to help us learn some more information so that we can keep our forests as forests.
Anyone who wants to come to explore will learn that there's a vast number of trails and roads, all of which have opportunities for folks to recreate on.
Although there appears to be a lot of wildland up and down the coast, there isn't that much that's publicly accessible. And so having Jackson State Forest open up the lands for people to get out, mushroom pick, hike, mountain bike, and really get a feel for what the land looks like and how beautiful it is.
Working with the community is really important. You have a lot of different folks, a lot of different users that have a lot of different ideas on what they want. And it's important for us to listen and take note on what people are asking for.
The Demonstration State Forest program was established in the 1940s. It was originally established to show that we could take cut-over timberlands and manage the trees that were regrowing on those lands as a sustainable crop for the state of California. The original logging in California started in about the 1850s. Much like a farmer would harvest their corn or their wheat, they remove the entire crop at the same time. As that carried forward, population got larger, technology got better. People started to see that there was going to be a time that we were going to run out of trees. Those early impacts left really big scars on the lands, and they also stripped the landscape of many of the older, larger trees that some wildlife depended on.
All of the Santa Cruz Mountains went through clear cutting from about the mid-1800s to the early 1900s, and it completely changed the complexion of the Santa Cruz Mountains. But since the Soquel State Forest was acquired, we have been implementing sustained yield, selection, silviculture, timber harvesting.
So what we have here is basically a grove of trees that have sprouted back from when they logged old growth back in the late 1800s. And so what we're able to do is come through here and selectively mark trees for harvest. Foresters over the decades have found that if you come through here and thin these groves of trees out, the trees that remain get more sunlight, more water, more nutrients. CAL FIRE, the state of California, is in this for the long haul. We want to manage our timber sustainably, and we want to do that in a backdrop of having public recreation, having research, and all the things that people would want to have go on in forest. We want to do it here. We want to do the best we can.
Over time, we've established that trees are a renewable resource, that we can grow them very well on these sites. As society's needs have changed, we have been the living laboratory where we can exhibit the different ways landowners can provide the social, economic, and environmental benefits that the state expects out of the forest now and in the future.
What's novel is having all of these different treatments in a given location. And so we can ask questions about how effective is that at keeping forests on the landscape in the face of climate change and in the face of altered disturbance regimes. Our drive here is really to help increase forest resilience, to allow forests to persist and keep them on the landscape. And in the end, it allows us to help forests persist into the future.
People always ask, like, what's the demonstration of a demonstration forest? We're demonstrating that we can do timber management and recreation and watershed protection and research and education, all of these things in one place.